In this video, I'll be showing you the basic structure of this game so that we can begin implementing different features over the next videos. Before I show you what we're doing, I would like to say that one of the differences between this game and some of the other games is that this game implements a 2D physics engine. What does that mean? It means a physics simulation of a two-dimensional world. So we can have things such as gravity, such as collision between elements, which will allow us to implement platformer mechanics. So we will implement a Mario-style type of game mechanic. You can obviously use it for different games too. And that's the other thing I wanted to say. Many of the things that we cover in different modules, I don't repeat them in other modules. Partly because I want to focus on the new stuff in each module. So this game, for example, only has one state. It doesn't have a loading screen, it doesn't have a home screen, but you already know how to build those things, so you can add them yourself if you want. In that allows me to focus more on the newer topics, such as the physics and the platformer mechanics. So let's get started. The structure of this game is very simple. We have an index.html file, which includes main.js, and the whole game is going to live in main.js in a single file. There will be only one state. For screen scaling, we're using the show all mode, which allows us to keep the aspect ratio of the game no matter the size of the screen. So the game will try to occupy as much space as possible on the screen, but the aspect ratio of the game will remain the same. And the game will show centered both horizontally and vertically. On preload, I'm already loading all of the images and sprite sheets that we have for this game. So, as you can see, there are two sprite sheets. One of them represents the player and has different frames for the player. And the other one represents the fire. So you can see the fire as if it's moving, it's changing. When the player is still, it will have a frame, and when it's moving, it will have the moving frames. So we're loading all of that, specifying the parameters that we've already seen before, and I'm just going to add in some sprites so that we can have them on the screen, and then in the next video I'll implement physics so you can see how gravity works and that sort of thing. So let's start by creating a ground. It will be this.add.sprite, and we're gonna place it in 500 in Y. The sprite that will be used is ground. So if it's all good so far, we should be seeing now the ground for our game. Now let's add in some platforms. Let's add one platform. Platform this.add.sprite, and we'll place it in this position, platform. So now we have the platform. And let's also add the player. This.player, this.add.sprite. We specify the coordinates, X, Y. It's going to be the sprite sheet player. And the frame that we want to have for the player will be frame number 3. This is the fourth frame. Remember that frame counting starts from 0. So this is frame 0, this is frame 1, frame 2, frame 3. That's the one that we want to show. So I specify number 3. Also, I want to set the anchor point of the player to the middle of the sprite. Set to 0.5. And I'm also going to create the animation right away, the walking animation. You can also play it now just to make sure it works. We will play. And the walking animation will include frames. Will show frame 0, then it will show frame 1, then frame 2, then frame 1. And the frames per second is going to be 6 frames per second. So every second you'll see 6 different frames. That's the speed. And it will auto loop. So it will start over and over when it finishes. So from 1, it will go back to 0, 1, 2, 1, 0, 1, 2. It'll go on forever. There we go. So we have now the player, the platform, the ground, and we have yet to enable physics so that you can see what happens when you enable gravity, which we'll do in the next video.